Hey everyone, Phoenix, and today's video is a bit different. This one's from the heart. I want to talk about why I truly believe Nintendo games should come to PC. And yeah, I'm gonna get into some real nostalgia, some feelings, and a bit of a rant too. This isn't about business or emulation or what's trendy. This is about memories, accessibility, and why I think games should be for everyone, not locked behind paywalls or outdated hardware. So if you're someone who ever played Pokemon on your Game Boy, or if you ever wanted to relive your childhood favorites, I had no legal way to do it, this one's for you. So let's talk about nostalgia. I'll never forget the first time I played Pokemon Red, the black and white screen, that catchy chiptune music, and the thrill of seeing my first Charmander evolve. It was magic, it really was. As a kid with autism and ADHD, games like Pokemon were my safe space. They helped me focus, they gave me purpose, they gave me joy when the world didn't always make sense. My Game Boy came with me everywhere, road trips, family events, even under covers at night with a flashlight. That little cartridge was more than a game. It was a memory machine. And yet, here we are in 2025, and I can't legally buy that experience again. That hits hard. The harsh reality. Can I why can't I play these games today? If I want to relive Fire Red, Emerald, or Heart Gold, what are my options? Well, I could try to find an old Game Boy Advance or DS on eBay, overpriced and probably barely working. Or maybe get one of those bootleg cartridges that barely save. Or let's be real, I could emulate it. Yeah, we'll talk about that soon. But for now, how is it that some of the most iconic games ever made are just gone? Unless you kept your childhood systems in perfect condition, those experiences are just out of reach. Nintendo has the power to fix that, but they don't. Which is true, you know? R4, PC platform, why it makes sense. The PC is the most accessible, flexible gaming platform in the world. Full stop. People build budget PCs, gaming laptops, or even use things like Steam Deck to play games anywhere, anytime. So why are Nintendo games that people of all ages still love, not available on this platform? Xbox is doing it, PlayStation is doing it, indies thrive on it. Even games like Persona and Final Fantasy, which used to be exclusive, are now cross platform. It's not the year 2000 anymore. The market has changed, and I think Nintendo needs to catch up, which I think is true. They really do. Now let's talk about the exclusivity problem, part 5. Look, exclusivity has its place. Back in the days, you picked a console, you stuck with it. You had the GameCube kids, the PlayStation 2 kids, the Xbox kids, and we trade stories like we were comparing folklore. And now it just feels restrictive. Exclusivity feels like gatekeeping, blocking art behind a brand. It's saying you can only play this if you spend money on our system. And yeah, I know it's a business, but also a creative industry, and at some point we have to ask, is it really worth holding great games hostage? Part 6, game preservation matters. This is bigger than just nostalgia. It's about preservation. The longer we let Nintendo bury these classics behind aging hardware, the more we risk losing them. The gaming industry still doesn't take preservation seriously enough. We treat these games like temporary experiences instead of cultural touchstones. Imagine if movies from the 90s only could be watched on VHS tapes that no longer work. That would be absurd. But that's where we're at with Pokemon Emerald or Metroid Fusion. These games deserve better. Future generations deserve access to them. And that's only possible if we put them on platforms that evolve with time, like PC. R7 emulation, the gray area. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, emulation. A lot of people emulate Nintendo games, and Nintendo hates it. And you know why it happens? Because fans have no other choice. You remove the legal way to buy games. If you shut down the eShops, if you don't release your titles, don't be surprised when fans find another way. Most people emulating these games aren't trying to steal, they're just trying to relive their childhood or experience a game they missed. That's not piracy, that's passion. So instead of fighting emulators, maybe give us an option that supports you and us. Disability, financial access, and community. Part 8. Here's something that often gets overlooked: accessibility. Not everyone can afford multiple systems. Not everyone has the physical ability to use handhelds or proprietary controllers. Proprietary controllers. Proprietary controllers. PC gaming open doors for people with disabilities. For people with limited income, for folks who just want options. Nintendo limits their games. When Nintendo limits when their games are available, they're excluding real people. And from a community standpoint, think about the possibilities. Nintendo games on PC would mean new modding communities, streamers revisiting classics, creators like me sharing our stories through content, and fans discovering titles they never got to play growing up. It's a win-win, but Nintendo just doesn't want to see that. But Nintendo just doesn't want to seem to see it. What are other companies doing right? Let's look at examples. Xbox puts their games on PC on day one. PlayStation releases older exclusives to PC, and they're seeing great success with Spider-Man, The Last of Us, and more. Sega and Atlus released Persona 4 Golden on PC and revitalized interest in a 10-plus-year-old game. The decisions grow the community. They make the games better known. They extend their lifespan. So why is Nintendo the only one clinging to the past like it's 1998? How this hits me personally, this isn't just me ranting for clicks. This is coming from someone who lived those games, who grew up with them, who still remembers feeling of catching my first shiny Pokemon or beating the Elite Four at 3 a.m. on a school night. I want to share those feelings with others. I want to stream those games, talk about them, bring people into that world, but I can't. Not legally, not easily. That frustrates me more than I can say. These games helped me shape me. They gave me confidence, joy, even friendships. They meant something. And I think they still can if Nintendo lets them. My final thoughts. So Nintendo, if by some miracle you're watching this, please let your game reach more people. You don't have to abandon your consoles. Just open a door. Make a PC port. Make a classic collection. Let us support you legally instead of forcing us to choose between nostalgia and rules. And to the gaming community, keep the conversation alive. Keep talking about game preservation. Keep sharing your stories. Because the more we speak up, the harder it is to ignore us. Games are for everyone. They're not just products. They're memories, therapy, culture, history, and they should be shared, not locked away. Thanks for sticking me through this longer video. I know this was a bit of an more emotional, but honestly it needed to be said. If you agree with me or if you don't, drop a comment. Let's talk about the Nintendo games you grew up with. Let's talk about what games meant to you the most. And if you got a favorite that you wish was on a PC, I'd love to hear it. Forget to like, sub, share this with someone who needs a dose of nostalgia today. Till next time, this is Phoenix. Signing off. Stay kind, stay passionate, and never stop playing. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And yeah, it's true. Nintendo needs to get with the times. They need to, really think about doing PC like exports and everything. Um, it would be cool to play a Mario game on PC, in my honest opinion. I haven't got to play Pokemon in years, and I don't want to buy another system. I got a GameCube, but even GameCube games are the most expensive, like finding them like retro games. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I shall see you in the next one.